Watch Who.
Hello, and welcome to the To Watch Who podcast. I'm Mark.
And I'm Sarah.
And I'm a Doctor Who fan, and
I'm new to Who.
New to Who. In like 50 episodes' time, we'll get this down and we'll be able to explain it a bit better than that. But that's how we're explaining it at the moment. Oh, actually, no, that's what I was going to say.
Go on.
There is a fan term.
Okay, go on.
I saw it was on. It's on some of the forums. If you're like me, you go on the forums sometimes. So when there's like a new episode, like the new series is on, it's like rate and review the episode, and the fans are always like blah blah blah, and then it's like, what do the not we think about it? The not we. I don't know if that's a Doctor Who thing, or that's just a general fan thing, but that's what they call it, the not we. So
What's
it's like,
mean?
Not we, as in you're not in the fandom. I think
it's not very like not we. Ugh,
so
I
it's
don't
like no,
that.
I know. Yeah, I'm not sure if that comes from anything. Like that might come from a Doctor Who episode. I'm not sure. I don't think it does.
Very
it doesn't
excluding.
Sound. Yeah, it doesn't
I don't
sound
like that.
So it's like, I watched Doctor Who with some like not we the other day. What did they think about it? Because as like meaning like a general viewer.
How do you become a we?
Because I suppose you're like a fan and you're like, I hope the viewing figures are all right for this. Oh, they've mentioned this. Whereas someone that's just casual, it's more to describe a casual watcher, I think.
Okay.
But no, it's not very nice. I don't like the word.
I don't like it. No. I'm not a fan. I feel that's excluding.
I don't want to introduce. I want to be like.
Don't introduce me as the not we.
No, I won't. But that's what sometimes it's termed as.
I do not approve.
Okay, there we are.
Okay, that's my thoughts.
So. Last episode, we met the Daleks for the first time.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yes, and now, at the end of that episode, it all went blam, didn't it?
Yeah.
And everyone collapsed in the TARDIS.
And it was like, whoa, what's going to happen? Well, it was like, whoa, what's going to happen?
that excited. So that leads us on to the Edge of Destruction.
The whole area of the fortificator has just given us a warning.
But everything can't be wrong.
That's what it means, child.
This is set entirely in the TARDIS.
Yeah.
What did you think? What did you think was going to happen when they all collapsed in the TARDIS? Where did you think we were going to end up or go in this one?
Out of the TARDIS.
Because it's quite an unusual one, because
nothing happens.
One, there's not very many stories set in the TARDIS, like in the TARDIS.
Yeah.
And two, there's not that many. There's a few 2-part episodes in the 60s. It's not very common to have a 2-part story anyway.
Nothing happens.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm
going to say it again, Mark. Nothing happens.
Well,
I can't tell you what happened. I can't. I was talking about it in work because they know I'm doing it, and they were like, "Oh, okay." So I said, "Oh yeah, I'm going around to do this day." And they're like, "Oh, so what was it?" I went, "I don't know. I can't tell you. That's what you can talk about." I was like, "I don't." It was just too weird.
I don't think this is going to be in anyone's top 50 stories or anything.
If it is, then
I don't think it is.
We need to have words.
So it's quite unusual, and I don't know. This might help put it into a bit more perspective. So. I think the story about why this one is 2 episodes are set in the TARDIS is because when they were filming, the next story wasn't ready.
Right.
So they had 2 weeks to fill, and all they had was a TARDIS set because the next set hadn't been, it wasn't ready yet. They had sort of script issues starting off and stuff. So they were like, right, we've just got to write 2 episodes. It was a filler. That's the idea. Yeah.
Oh, it's just a filler.
But saying that, it's not a great story.
Filler. No, it's just,
it is a little bit disappointing because hearing about it, you're like, oh, it's set in the TARDIS, Edge of Destruction. This sounds really cool. I'm not particularly fond of this. I got this. See, I first watched it. I got it on video.
Yeah.
But it was towards the end of the video releases. So I think they were the ones I hadn't got around to. They were like, oh, Edge of Destruction, we better put it out on video. I reckon it was around 2000 because I got it on holiday.
Right.
And I remember the first Big Brother was on TV. So that must have been about 2000. Before Nasty Nick was like nasty. It was in the leader. I was watching that and then I was like, oh, I got Edge of Destruction on video. I'm going to watch that. So it must have been, 2000, maybe 2001, around that time.
Literally.
So I don't have any special like connection with this one.
No, the last 5 minutes is when I was like, okay, that's what it means by the edge. Like,
I mean, Edge of Destruction and the other ones are called like Brink of Disaster or something. It's I like the TARDIS, seeing the TARDIS.
Yeah, you
positives, but then the other side of it, you get to spend a bit of time with these characters. It ends up being a bit of a character piece, like a sort of you're catching up with them after these two adventures they've had. It's a bit of a slower pace. Yeah, you're not getting any of the. Well, yeah, because we say that, but we've enjoyed getting to know the side characters. I suppose. Yeah, but you're getting to know Ian, Barbara, Doctor, and Susan, their relationships. Yes and no, because they're all like angry with each other. Okay, should we just go into let's just go character by character, and I'm sure it will all happen. Like, we got to the end of that first episode, and I was like, I don't know what's happened. I don't know what's going on. And I just couldn't say out to you. I was like, let's hope it improves. And then it kind of didn't. And I was like, well, that happened. Like, yeah, okay. Well, if I'd have come into Doctor Who watching that, I never would have watched it again. And we've enjoyed the Unearthly Child and the Daleks so much that it is a little bit of a dip, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, yeah. A little bit of a dip. So let's go character by character and then just see what happens. Right, who do you want to start with? Let's start with Ian. Okay, Ian. So he was your hero in the Daleks. He stood up and he was your number one. Yeah. So. Good old E.
Doctor, where are we? When we left the planet Skaro, where did you ask the machine to take us to? Think, Doctor.
This isn't, okay, so this isn't like his shining episode. No. He doesn't do a lot. That's fine. Gets knocked out. He's the problem. It starts off though because something weird's happened and they don't really remember who each other is. Yeah, and they're all a bit, and you think, something creepy's going to happen, or I thought someone's going to be possessed by an alien, or that kind of thing. All that stuff you think's going to happen, nothing happens. So Ian is. I don't really know what to say about Ian in this. No, this is the thing. Like, eventually you learn that he just got knocked out by touching the console. He gets electrocuted, I think. Yeah, but they all are against each other. Like, I think he's going around in his dressing gown. Like, it's just weird. So he doesn't do a lot, but he can't remember a lot. So he's not really your number one hero anymore. No, he's not my hero. I mean, look, he's still my hero. All right, like, he hasn't dropped. But this isn't his shining episode. You can't always be a hero, okay? Okay. Heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they wear dressing gowns, okay? Sometimes they need a night off. This was his episode off. So he can't always be on. And this time he got electrocuted and had an episode off. Yeah. He did a lot in the Daleks, to be fair. He did a lot in the Daleks. He propped up the Daleks. Yeah. Even when helped the Thals. He was busy with the Thals, and he goes straight into being knocked out. Yeah, so he got electrocuted, didn't he? He had his legs disabled and tried to get up, so he needed his dressing gown on for this one. Okay, so Ian. Oh, what we're talking about, Ian? Can I tell you when I met William Russell? Yeah, because sure. I have the DVD signed by him. So I met him a few years ago. Yeah. And he's mid-90s now. Oh, and so Ian. Going to these signings and things, I don't expect much, because I just want to see them and say hi. Is this the picture where it looks like you're your granddad? Yes, yeah, you've seen the photo. So it was really nice just to see him. Yeah. Then later on, when I got the photo, so a lot of it, they do the signing, then they'll go and do a talk, and then they'll have the photo. I was really busy the rest of the day, and his photo was right at the end of the day, and I was one of the last people to get the photo. So he'd been doing his photos for about an hour by the time I saw him. And he's sitting down, and you go in, and it's all set up, like the school photo thing with a flash and everything. It's height, sit down, flash, sit down, flash, Yeah, yeah. And I went in and sat down. I was like, hi. And he was just... I'm not being horrible or anything, but
no movement, nothing, no register. It was just, I mean, and I think it was right at the end of the day. And even like the person, like the photographer looked round to the guy and was like, is he okay? He looked round. And the guy that was, I don't know if it's the agent or like relatives or something, like, yeah, it's fine, carry on. And so it's not the best photo. But he had a long day and he's still flying around the world, meeting people. And then I saw him in Cardiff a few months later.
Oh, did you?
He did Comic-Con in Cardiff. And that was in the morning. He was, hi, blah, blah, and there was like kids dressed up as like, I don't know, like Star Wars, whatever. He was like, oh, that's really cool. And then I saw him again and he signed the photo and he was like, oh, where's this? And I was like, it was a few months ago. I think obviously no memory of it. Yeah. But it was so nice to see him. Yeah. And he's still, he's still going and he's still doing these events and stuff. And, it just depends when you get him, obviously. It's same with everyone, really.
Oh, yeah.
But I'd like to get another photo with him. I was just a bit like, it was like having a photo with a mannequin. It really was. And I don't want to sound like horrible. Yeah. But that was a bit, but you can't really expect, you cannot expect to be like, oh, in the edge of destruction or like this or, that kind of thing.
And it's a long day.
He's a little bit beyond that at the moment.
He's in his 90s, like you said. Oh.
Yeah, but it was so good to see him. Yeah. Be like, that's Ian. He's been on Skaro. He's been in the Cave of Skulls. He's done this. So there we go. Yeah. So that's Ian.
Oh, I love it.
The first of my signing stories.
Because you both sat down.
I know. We just sat there, and I was like, oh. I just wanted to, hi or something, but it was just the blank. It was just a blank, nothing, not a movement, not a register of anything that was going on. Unfortunately, I know. But
then you made up for it.
Then that's why I'm glad I saw him after that. I didn't want that to be the only experience. Yeah, so there we are. Good. We've digressed. That's Ian.
I enjoyed it.
Should we just do Barbara?
No, let's do Susan.
Okay, Susan.
Yeah, let's do Susan. Susan was possessed.
Grandfather! Susan, it's all right. Oh. Well, there's something here. Inside the ship.
Well, yeah, I thought that's what was going to happen. She goes
mental.
She goes alien.
Yeah. She goes mental.
And with her scissors.
Yeah, she gets some scissors out and tries to stab, doesn't she? She proper loses it. So then, you see, it turns into this gang wars in the... It goes like gang wars, and it's like Susan and Doctor versus Ian and Barbara. Yeah. And Ian and Barbara are like, we don't want no evil, we don't want no war. And Susan and Doctor are like, you baddies, you're against us, you're bad, you need to get off. And Susan, who generally is pretty like, all right, she's like, with her scissors like, ah! And then at one point she's like, oh, well, maybe they're not. And then the Doctor's like, no, get them off here, no. Susan, and Susan's just mental in
I think you've highlighted the issue with the story. There's not really an explanation.
No.
Because, Susan suddenly goes possessed.
Literally out of nowhere.
She lies on that bed, dresses in black, wandering around in a cloak.
She's just all in black.
And I thought, right, she's going to... Something alien. She brings... Her alienness has come out.
Yeah. One sec, going back. The beds. Can we just go to the beds?
TARDIS beds. I love seeing rooms in the TARDIS.
So, the TARDIS beds, I said to you, I was like, what are those? I would never sleep in that. I'm a front sleeper, right? That is like my worst nightmare. Because it's like a W shape.
You can't go on your side or anything, can you?
You can't go on your side. You can't go on your front. Can you imagine on your front? I'm a front sleeper. I'd be like, I can't even think what position that would be. Like, stuck on my face with like my bum in the air. I don't know. It'd be very uncomfortable. I'd be like, I think I'd be farting a lot because I'd have my bum stuck in the air with like all night. I don't know. It wouldn't be great. It'd be very uncomfortable. Those are very unpractical beds.
Yeah, and considering the TARDIS is like infinite, they're like just next to each other.
Yeah.
Sleeping next to each other. They're like sun loungers, aren't they?
They are. But that's it. Like even a sun lounger is flat.
Maybe that's why Susan was so upset.
In her black. That's the thing.
Black.
She's just
black.
like.
Well, then Barbara goes in black, doesn't they? That's their pajamas.
They go all morbid.
Yeah. Well, when she's in the black and everything, and you see it, and I think that it's sort of good because then you see her alien side.
Yeah.
But again, like in the Daleks, she's alien. She sort of is. She's like, oh no, the ship can do this, the ship can do that.
Yeah.
Knows her stuff. By the end of episode 2, the Doctor is explaining how a spring works to her.
Yeah.
So again, it's that suddenly knowledgeable thing, and then going back to being a child.
True point there.
But I really liked seeing that alien Psycho Susan.
Psycho Susan.
Yeah.
So true. Yeah, like she literally, and that was so weird because she's led there, wasn't she, in her black pajamas, and that was it as well. Like she was there normal. No, let's put Susan to bed. She was there like all like wide eyes. She's like, arr!
But she played. It's
like
played
Psycho,
really well.
And then they put her to bed, and she's led there on the weird bed, the most uncomfortable bed. She's led there like, and Barbara's there like, Susan, are you okay? Oh, you had a shock, all this sort of stuff. And then out of nowhere, Susan's like, Scissors! It's just mental. So yeah, Susan, by not her best form.
No.
But then later on, she does like sort of come around a little bit, and she starts to believe like, oh, hang on a minute, maybe this isn't right, and sort of
she sort of understands. She
starts twigging that. Hang on, maybe this isn't right.
So the doctor,
what a dick.
Doctor, don't you see? Something terrible's happening to all of us.
Not to me. Nothing's happened to me. This is a plot between the two of you to get control of my ship.
Right, I'm gonna get this out there now.
Oh, okay,
just getting it out. I hate the Doctor.
So in the Daleks before, for me, he was starting to come around a little bit. I mean, he had dick move number 2 with the Mercury.
Yeah.
And then he started to be a bit...
Sorry,
what?
that is like the 3rd time in my life I've ever heard you say nothing. I got really excited.
Okay.
Like the second was over Earl Grey, I think. Oh my God. Yeah, sorry, I got
anyway.
really excited. Anyway, but yeah, dick move.
And then later on, he starts to... he's the scientist, he's looking at the Thal stuff, he's getting all... He doesn't do that much in the Daleks, but you start to warm to him a little bit.
A little.
And then
no, you don't, because the reason they're bloody there is because of him.
But I don't... You sort of get to... when Susan and him are going to the... with his poo stick in the Dalek City and stuff.
Yeah.
But then this, you just go straight back down. He's the same character that they meet in the junkyard.
It's the same twat.
He's unconscious again for the first episode, most of it, isn't he? He gets his bandage on his head.
Oh, yeah.
That's the 3rd time he's unconscious in a row.
Do you think maybe, when they cast him, and then like within the rehearsal period, they were like, shit, he is not with it at all.
No, to be honest, that happens later on, actually.
Yeah.
But he's only 50s in this.
Yeah. Do you think
he's
maybe
a wig and stuff? He's not that old. He's not that old.
I think genuinely they were like, he is not that way. Mark, he like stumbles over his stuff all the time.
And they're doing it, but they're doing it practically as live. They don't have time to do it again.
No one else does. Mark, come on.
No.
Stop giving...
It's part of the character. It's part of the character.
No, it's not.
It is part of the character.
It's not. Some of his stumbles are not part of the character.
We're only on the 3rd story, and you've got a long way to go with the stumble. Wait till he's at the end of his series. And he has to go. That is... You can't start saying this now at the edge of destruction.
I'm saying, I reckon that even early on they were like...
You can't start that now.
Let's make him a
Later
diddy
on,
old
we'll
man.
talk about that, but not right now.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's unconscious.
Yeah.
He gets his bandage on his head, which distracts me always through the story that he's got this bandage on his head. But the main thing with him is this is the first time that he has it out with Ian and Barbara.
Yeah.
Because from Unearthly Child to the Dark, they haven't had a chance to stop, apart from get changed.
They have it out now. This is it.
And then this is because Barbara has a go at him quite early on, doesn't she?
Yeah.
You ungrateful, all this kind of stuff. You would have died without us, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, they full on
really, that is the main part of the story, isn't it? Ian and Barbara, the Doctor and Susan, and then there's that nice scene at the end with Doctor and Barbara getting on.
Yeah.
He apologises to
Yeah,
them.
let's go to Barbara then.
So I want.
Well, that's the time to move. Let's go to Barbara.
Okay.
All right, because,
this is a very Barbara story.
This is a Barbara story.
Do you realize, you stupid old man, that you'd have died in the Cave of Skulls if Ian hadn't made fire for you?
I...
And what about what we went through against the Daleks? Not just for us, but for you and Susan, too. And all because you tricked us into going down to the city.
But I...
Accuse us? You ought to go down on your hands and knees and thank us.
So, at last, the writers have decided...
Okay, when she started, so they're all a bit woozy, and then it gets on and they start arguing. And when Barbara has a go, what did you think when Barbara starts to...
So,
because you've judged Barbara quite harshly, to be honest.
Okay, so to begin to be honest, so to begin with, this was like a classic Barbara episode, because everyone was a bit like, oh, I don't know what's going on. Well,
they're all like that.
Barbara's doing a classic, I'll go and be the nurse.
Yes, she looks after Susan.
Yeah, classic, classic Barbs. And so to begin with, like, I didn't really think much of it. Then she starts, like, trying to pick things up. So she's like, what was it, the melting clocks and stuff. And she's slowly picking things up. But whatever, this is all stuff that's going on. The whole episode is a mess. So, like, these are all things that are just going on. I'm not particularly paying that much attention. And then that whole argument starts, and Barbara's like standing up. And this is the first point where I'm like, thank God the writers, they're like, let's give Barbara a backbone, because it is about time, because that's all I wanted. Yeah. I just wanted her to, like, do something. That's been the most annoying thing about her. Like, she's just been
had
a wet flannel.
Time. She's gone through all of that cave stuff. They had all that Chernobyl stuff. And then they had the whole potholing. And now, finally, they get in their pyjamas and they have a bit of a rest, and that's when it all happens, doesn't it?
It's not a rest, is it? No, it's not a rest. They got electrocuted. Some weird shit went down. She nearly got stabbed with some scissors. And then finally, it all, like, kicks off.
So in terms of Barbara now, the resolution then between the Barbara and the Doctor, do you think things are going to be a bit more
I feel like we're all unstable. We're all on level.
It levels it out from before.
Absolutely.
They've gone through it. Yeah.
We're all on a level now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad that Barbara's had her moment, because it was just annoying me so much that she was such a wet flannel, Yeah. And it was really annoying me, and I was just like, do something,
and the bit at the end, because Ian forgives the Doctor pretty much straight away, and then Barbara goes off and has a bit of a cry.
And even, she doesn't cry. She
goes, oh.
Does she?
Well, you think she walks off. She
doesn't cry. She walks off and just, like, she doesn't cry. That's such a man response. She doesn't cry. She goes off and, like, has a, like, anger moment, like, fucking men. Like, that's what she does. Men think you go off and cry. Women are like, oh, that's what it is. So I think Barbara needed this. And the Doctor's all like, oh, she'll come round. She's a woman. And then he realises, like, I've got to go and actually apologise. Right. I've got to actually stop being a dick.
Okay.
Hasn't he? Because he does. Because he is.
So everyone's, he
has to actually...
Yes, he realises.
Has to actually own up to his actions at last. Because, he's got to, because he's a dick. Yeah. So, basically, Doctor is, like, so low on my list. Like, he's, like, on my shoe. Like,
well, I was going to say, how are you going to rank them now? Because I think it was Ian, Susan, Doctor, Barbara.
Okay, so it's Ian still.
Ian's still number one at the moment.
Always.
Although he didn't do very much.
Even though he didn't do much, like, I like Ian's morals and I like his character, and
you like the cape that he gets into at the end of the episode.
I like the clothing choices at the end. Like, so Ian, I'm just like Team Ian, And even then, like, even though Ian doesn't really know what's going on, and Barbara goes and cares for Ian, like, there's still, like, good moral there. So I like Ian. Barbara, I'm glad she, like, stood up for herself at last. Susan, Doctor is like, so he's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's like 10.
Okay, so he's got a lot to do before he's not the hero at all at the moment.
He's not. And also, he just hasn't been. Like, even though Barbara, he's just never really...
Well, watching these again in order, I am surprised how little he's sort of done compared to Ian and Barbara.
Yeah.
Like, he was unconscious when he got taken to the Cave of Skulls. He got radiation unconscious in the Daleks.
He just lies down.
And then he's unconscious for the first half of this.
Yeah.
With a bandage. You don't really realise how little he does. And it is still Ian and Barbara's story at the moment.
Yeah.
So...
Like, considering he is Doctor...
Yeah.
And, you know...
But it's more the people around him and how they react to him, isn't it, at the moment? So you're still wanting Ian and Barbara to get home and, they're still experiencing it as we are.
Yeah.
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 So...
Well, I'm just glad that finally Barbara's had something...
Okay, that's
like, some
good.
guts about her, and it's taken this bloody long. But I'm like... Because it was just annoying. It was just like... It was so like...
She was coping the best she could.
Oh, Mark, shut up.
She was coping.
Because also, bear in mind, I mean, okay, so people...
And she had her faux trousers in for the beginning of that episode still.
She did.
She didn't even have a chance to get changed.
I know. Well, none of them did. But, I mean, also bear in mind, people listening to this, they're like, all right, it's like this. But it's not, because we had, 4 episodes for the first one. Then we had 7 of the other, and then 2 of this. So, like, I've watched a lot of Barbara. I've watched a lot of Barbara here, and I just think...
It will get better. It will get better.
13 episodes is that? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 13, 12. I can't do math. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 13.
Yeah.
13 episodes of Barbara I've watched. Not 3. 13 episodes of Barbara. It's taken 13 episodes for her to sort her shit out. That is a long time of waiting for Barbara to sort it out. So, about time. Yeah. That's all. That's off my chest now.
Okay.
So, I'm really happy. I'm really happy for Barbara. But that's why Ian's still up there. Because that has been 13 episodes of Ian ruling the roost.
Going back to the Doctor a moment.
Yeah.
What did you think? His speech at the end is quite good. Talking about... Well, when we find out what's going on. So, basically what has happened is... a spring has stuck on the console.
And it's the most pathetic
and they've been travelling back towards like the Big Bang, so the ship has been trying to warn them, and all the weird stuff's going on. It's been trying to warn them about that's what's happened. And he gets the spring and undoes the fast return switch, and that's what it is. And he explains to Susan what a spring is, how a spring works. Susan / the audience. What did you think about...
Do you know what? When it's that, you're just like, what? It is the most, considering you've just had all of this, like, nothing, like, just the most confusing, and then it's almost like, I can't even think what to expect. You know when you watch something like, right, I watched an episode of Father Ted the other day, right? And it's the episode. Do you ever watch Father Ted?
No, I haven't.
Okay, there's an episode. It's like a classic Father Ted sort of sketches. There's an episode where he's on a milk truck, right? And he's been told, one of the fathers, that if it goes below 5 miles per hour, and it's a milk truck, so they go slow. If it goes below 5 miles per hour, the bomb underneath will explode.
Right. Okay.
So he gathers all the other fathers, to work out what they're going to do. So they have all these things. And one of them goes, let's do mass. So they do a mass, and then they go back, that didn't fix it, what are we going to do? And another one of the fathers has decided he's going to have a pet brick. So he's walking about the side, so he's walking around his brick, and he trips over it, does Father Ted, and he's like, I've got an idea. So he gets the brick, and he runs over to the milk cart, and he's just been going around a roundabout for hours, waiting for them to come up with an idea. And he goes, Dougal, when I tell you, lift your foot, and I'm going to put the brick down, and then you're going to jump off a milk cart. You're going to be okay. He's like, okay. So lift your foot. So he puts the brick down, and then he jumps off, and he goes, Father Ted, I got your brick. And that's the joke.
Right, okay.
That is the spring.
Okay.
That entire joke is the spring. It's like this whole thing. I was planning all this other stuff going on. Oh, look, it's just a spring. It's just,
Yeah,
that is literally, it's just the most,
very
it's
disappointing.
almost like just a joke. It's just the most pathetic joke, isn't it? It's like a really simple joke, like, oh, look, it was just a spring. Like, oh, silly us. Oh, Mama Ted, I got the brick. Like, it's literally the same thing. That's the closest I can think to explain
Did
to
you think it was going to go anywhere else? When you were watching it?
What
Did
do you
know,
mean?
like, when you were seeing, like, all time, the clock's melting, did you think there was something else that was going to happen?
I don't know, a bit more complicated or a bit more like, I thought maybe they'd have to do a bit more teamwork. I was expecting a bit more teamwork to sort of like build their relationships back together.
Right, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because the whole thing is like they've been, their whole thing is that they've all like argued and like, so maybe they would work together to try and fix it. Instead, what happened is, like, was it Ian looked and was like, well, what is it this? And, oh look, it's stuck under here. Susan goes, what is it, Grandpa? It's right, literally. Like, and nothing. And then Barbara's there just like, fucking told you so. And it goes off in a strop. Like. Yeah,
it is a little bit of a dip, isn't it? It's a bit of a shame to have that. Apart from the character stuff that it does.
All it does is allow for a big, like you say...
Big argument.
It allows for a big argument that was building. Yeah. It needed the big argument. It was good for that. We didn't need it, but it allowed for that sort of tension and allowed for that. But what would have been nice is a resolution of them maybe coming together to fix it.
Yeah, because they don't
because
really,
actually,
do they?
all that happens then is... Susan goes outside, gets the snow coat on, goes outside. He's like, come on, Barbara, out in the snow. Off you go.
Yeah, exactly.
The doctor's like, come on, let's go join them. And Barbara's just like, I don't really want to. Like, nothing like, and then eventually, doctor's like, come on, and like talks her into it. But it's not really...
No, there's not. I know it was like probably rushed written to fill in this space, but you could have done so much more. You could have... that story in the TARDIS. Have come to so much, because actually, regardless of them working together to fix that, they're not going to walk out of there all the best of friends. There are always still going to be those things of working, because they still had those arguments, they still had that fight. That doesn't just go away. No. So even though they'd have worked together to fix it, it's not like it would have been, oh, now we're all best friends now. It would have still been, but that argument still happened. That's still... And then there could have been that sort of resolution to discuss it. Even for like a 60s story, I mean, classic Doctor Who is often criticised for not having much character development, as much as if you compare it to the new series where there's like story arcs and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. So it's, for the third story to sort of do this sort of character piece is quite impressive. But yeah, you do have that. They always have to go into the next story. So there's always that. There's not like, a week has gone by and then you can never do that. It always goes straight into the next story. So there's, which is probably why, they're always, it doesn't really rely on those. You don't really have those character moments very often. No. And there's not the time to do it. No. They're slower stories, but they're telling the adventure story. They're not focusing on the characters very much. No. So it's nice to have that. Yeah, I just wish it had been a bit more interesting. And, well, that's the thing. All it was just a fast return switch. Just, yeah.
Oh, so annoying.
Yeah. But there we are. Well, we got through it.
We did get through it.
Luckily, it wasn't more than 2 episodes.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
If it was like 7 episodes.
If it had been even 3. Yeah. And at least I did the first one and was like, there's just one
even
more.
With those 2, you can just see they're just padding it out.
Yeah. Oh, God, it was awful, wasn't it? It was so awful. It was just so bad.
Well, there we are. It's a shame. It's our first bad one.
It's a spring, Mark.
I know, yeah. I didn't really see any... I didn't watch it in a different light this time. No. I didn't really see much else, unfortunately.
No.
Susan and the Scissors, though, I mean, for a kid's show...
It's pretty hardcore. Pretty hardcore.
So then we see the footprints in the snow. Yeah. Exciting stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then we'll go on to... So next up, you are going to earn your fan hardcore points.
Yay.
Because we're on to our first missing story. So I'll explain about that next time. But
thanks.
One hurdle done. There we are. Edge of destruction.
Is that okay? Only so one hurdle done and we're at 3 episodes.
As in one hurdle, as in that's our first sort of a struggle, where I'm just like, we've got to watch the Age of Destruction.
You said that about the first one.
I know, but within this one there isn't really anything new to discover, I feel.
It was terrible.
There we are. It was terrible. I'm going to call the episode that.
Direct quote.
So join us next time for our next story. You can follow us on Twitter to Watch Who and Instagram to Watch Who. So follow us and let us know what you think of the Edge of Destruction.
If it's your favourite.
Is anybody out there likes it? If it's in your top 10, we want to know why. Why?
It could because, Barb's, but still.
She is strong. Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, Barbara has been, I feel, consistent throughout. Let's not start this again. We'll carry on this next time.
Yeah,
the Barbara chat. This is going on. But
we could have a whole podcast on just Barbara.
Yeah. Okay, we won't no more Barbara chat till next time. So join us next time. Bye.
Bye.
To Watch Who.
Eh? Doctor Who? What's he talking about?